Eva had always believed her best friend and her big brother barely noticed each other. She was completely wrong. It was a warm Saturday afternoon. Sunlight slipped through the living room windows while Eva sprawled on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Her best friend Lena Carter sat cross-legged on the floor, sketching in a notebook. From the kitchen doorway, Adrian Hale, Eva's older brother, leaned against the frame pretending to drink coffee while secretly watching Lena laugh at something Eva said. Adrian quickly looked away when Lena glanced up. Eva groaned. I'm starving. I'm ordering pizza." Lena grinned. "Finally, I thought you'd never say that." Adrian walked in casually. "Make that 2 pizzas," he said. Eva raised an eyebrow. "You're eating with us?" "Is that illegal?" Adrian replied dryly. Lena chuckled. Adrian's chest tightened slightly at the sound of her laugh. He tried to act normal, sitting on the armchair. Eva pointed at him. "You're paying." Adrian shrugged. "Sure." "Wow," Lena teased. "He's generous today." Adrian smirked slightly. "Don't get used to it." But inside, he thought, if buying pizza means you stay longer, I'd buy 10. Pizza boxes covered the table. Eva suddenly jumped up.
"Oh no, I forgot Mia's birthday video call." She grabbed her phone and rushed upstairs. "Don't eat the last slice," she shouted. The room fell quiet. Adrian and Lena were suddenly alone. Lena wiped her hands with a napkin. "So, thanks for the pizza?" "Anytime." Silence again. Lena tilted her head. "You're quieter than usual." Adrian raised an eyebrow. "You think I'm talkative?" "Not really," Lena laughed. "But today you're extra quiet." Adrian looked at her for a moment. "You talk enough for both of us." "Rude." "I didn't say it was a bad thing." She smiled slightly. For a second, their eyes held. Adrian quickly looked away, grabbing another slice he didn't even want. A loud rumble of thunder shook the windows. Lena jumped slightly. "Wow, that started fast." Rain poured heavily outside. She checked her phone. "My bus is in 20 minutes, but with this rain..." Adrian stood up. "I'll drive you." "Oh, you don't have to. It's fine." He grabbed his keys. Rain tapped softly on the windshield. Lena watched the city lights blur through the water. "You're a good brother to Eva," she said suddenly. Adrian glanced at her. "Why?" "She's lucky to have you." He gave a small smile. "She complains about me daily. That's because siblings are annoying." "Speaking from experience?" "I have 3 brothers." Adrian laughed quietly. The car stopped at a red light. Lena turned toward him. "You know, I used to think you didn't like me." Adrian blanked. "Why?" "You always avoid me." He hesitated. Then he sighed softly. "That's not the reason." "Oh?" The light turned green. He started driving again. Lena waited. But Adrian didn't continue. Finally, she said, "You're mysterious." "Not really." "Then explain." Adrian glanced at her again. For a moment, it looked like he might say something important. But instead, he said quietly, "Some things are just better unsaid." Lena studied his face curiously. "Well, now I'm even more curious." Adrian smiled faintly. If you knew the truth, he thought, things would never be this simple again. Back at the house, Isa Raymat sighed as the car pulled in. "You took forever," she complained. Lena laughed. "Blame the rain." Eva looked between them. "Why are you both smiling like that?" Adrian grabbed the empty pizza box from the porch. "Because," he said calmly, "your friend talks too much." Lena nudged him. "Hey!" Eva rolled her eyes. "You two are weird." Neither of them argued. But as Lena walked inside beside Eva, Adrian watched her for a second longer than he should. His secret remained safe. The rain stopped later that night, but the cool air stayed. Inside the house, Eva was still talking loudly on a video call upstairs, while Lena Carter sat at the kitchen counter eating the last slice of pizza.
Adrian Hale walked in to grab a glass of water. He stopped when he saw her. "You ate the last slice," he said. Lena looked up, guilty but amused. "You weren't eating it. I was saving it. You had 4 slices already." Adrian leaned against the counter. "That's not the point." Lena slid the empty plate toward him. "Here, you can keep the plate." Adrian laughed under his breath. "You're very generous." "Thank you." For a moment, they just looked at each other. Then Lena said casually, "You know, Eva talks about you a lot." Adrian raised an eyebrow. "That sounds dangerous." "She says you act cold but secretly care about people." Adrian scoffed. "She's exaggerating." "I don't think so." Lena studied him with curiosity. "You drove me home in a storm. That's caring." It was 5 minutes away. "It still counts." Adrian shrugged, but the corner of his mouth lifted slightly. The next weekend, Lena came over again. Eva burst into the living room carrying snacks. "Movie night!" Lena clapped dramatically. "Finally!" Adrian walked past them with a bowl of popcorn. Eva looked suspicious. "Why are you here?" Adrian frowned. "I live here." "Yeah, but you never join movie night." Adrian sat on the couch. "Maybe your taste improved." Eva gasped. "My taste is amazing." Lena laughed and sat beside Eva. The movie started, but Eva talked through half of it. "Don't you think that guy looks like my math teacher?" "Eva," Lena whispered, laughing. "Watch the movie." Adrian sat on the other side of Lena. Every once in a while she laughed and leaned forward, and Adrian found himself watching her instead of the screen. Halfway through the movie, Eva suddenly stood up. "I forgot the ice cream." She ran to the kitchen. Lena shook her head. "She's impossible." Adrian smirked. "You're only realizing this now?" "Best friends have selective blindness." "Apparently." Lena turned slightly toward him. "You're different tonight." "How?" "You're actually talking." "I talk." "Barely." Adrian looked at her quietly. "You make it easier." Lena blinked. "What?" He quickly looked back at the screen. "Nothing." She frowned slightly but didn't push. Later that night, Lena went home. Eva returned to the living room and saw Adrian staring at the closed door. She narrowed her eyes. "Why are you looking at the door?" "I'm not." "You totally are." Adrian grabbed the remote. "You're imagining things." Eva crossed her arms. "You were being nice to Lena." "I'm always nice." Adrian stared at him dramatically. "You hate everyone." "That's not true." "Name 3 people you like." Adrian thought for a second. "You." Eva grinned. "Aw." "And Mom?" "2." Adrian hesitated. Eva waited. Then he said casually, "Lena." Eva blinked. "Well, obviously, she's my best friend." Adrian quickly stood up. "I'm going to sleep." Eva watched him walk away with narrowed eyes. Outside, Lena walked home under the streetlights. She replayed the evening in her head. Adrian laughing. Adrian watching her. Adrian saying, "You make it easier." She smiled slightly. "Why is he suddenly interesting?" she murmured to herself. Back at the house, Adrian lay awake staring at the ceiling. He ran a hand through his hair. "This is a terrible idea," he muttered, because the more time he spent around Lena, the harder it became to pretend she was just his sister's friend. And sooner or later, someone was going to notice, especially Eva. A few weeks later, something strange began happening. Eva noticed it first. It started small. Whenever Lena Carter came over, Adrian Hale somehow appeared in the same room. If Lena went to the kitchen, Adrian suddenly needed water. If Lena sat in the living room, Adrian suddenly wanted to watch TV. At first, Eva ignored it, but one afternoon, it became impossible to ignore. Eva and Lena were getting ready to go to the library. Eva grabbed her bag. "Come on, we'll miss the bus." Lena nodded. Just then, Adrian walked into the hallway. "Where are you two going?" Eva answered quickly. "Library." Adrian grabbed his jacket. I'll drive. Eva froze. You hate driving us anywhere. I didn't say I hated it. You literally complain every time. Adrian shrugged. Get in the car. Eva slowly turned to Lena. Do you see this? Lena laughed.
Free ride. Ava sat in the back, while Lena sat in the passenger seat. Ava watched them suspiciously. Adrian asked casually, "What time does the library close?" Lena answered, 8. Ava leaned forward. Why do you care? Adrian glanced at her in the mirror. I'm asking. Ava whispered dramatically. He's acting weird. Lena chuckled. Ava, stop. But Ava kept watching. Every time Lena spoke, Adrian listened carefully. Every time Lena laughed, Adrian smiled slightly. Ava's eyes slowly widened. Wait. No way. Later that evening, Adrian came to pick them up again. Ava intentionally walked slower behind Lena. She watched Adrian open the car door for her best friend. Ava froze. Adrian never opens doors. Lena smiled politely. Thanks. No problem, Adrian said. Ava climbed into the back seat again. Her brain was racing. She stared at the back of Adrian's head. Then she whispered to herself, Oh my God. That night, Eva burst into Adrian's room. Adrian looked up from his laptop. What? Eva pointed dramatically. You like Lena. Adrian blinked once. What? You heard me. Adrian went back to typing. You're insane. Eva jumped onto his bed. You opened the car door for her. So? You drove us twice. So? You smiled. Adrian stopped typing. Eva gasped. You never smile. Adrian rubbed his forehead. Eva, you like my best friend. He looked at her calmly. No. Eva narrowed her eyes. You're lying. I'm not. You are. He leaned back in his chair. Even if I did, why do you care? Eva gasped dramatically. Because she's my best friend. And it would be weird. Adrian smirked slightly. Why? Eva opened her mouth, then paused. I don't know, actually. Adrian laughed quietly. Eva stared harder. You totally like her. Adrian shook his head. You watch too many romance movies. Eva pointed again. I'm watching you. Please don't. I'm serious. Adrian turned back to his laptop. But after Eva left the room, he sighed quietly. Because Eva was closer to the truth than he wanted. And if Eva figured it out completely, things between him and Lena might never stay the same. At home, Lena lay on her bed scrolling through her phone. She suddenly paused. She remembered Adrian opening the car door. She smiled slightly. Why is he suddenly so nice? She murmured. But she didn't realize something important. Eva was already investigating, and Eva never gave up on a mystery. His POV. I realized I was in trouble the moment Eva said Lena was coming over. That sentence shouldn't make my heart beat faster, but it did. I tried to act normal. I stayed in my room, pretending to read something on my laptop, but the moment I heard Lena's laugh downstairs, I sighed and closed the screen. There was no point pretending. I was already walking toward the stairs. When I reached the living room, Eva and Lena Carter were sitting on the floor surrounded by snacks. Lena looked up first. Oh, hi, Adrian. She smiled. That simple smile did something stupid to my brain. I forced myself to nod casually. Hey. Eva squinted at me immediately. Why are you here? I frowned. I live here. You never join us. I'm bored. Eva didn't look convinced. Lena just laughed softly. You can sit if you want. That sentence was dangerous, because if Lena invited me,
I would always say yes. So I sat down on the couch. The problem with liking your sister's best friend is this. You see her all the time. You hear her laugh. You hear her voice. You notice every small thing. And you have to pretend none of it matters. Right now, Lena was talking about a teacher at school. Ava was laughing loudly. But I wasn't listening to the story. I was watching Lena. The way she moved her hands when she talked, the way her hair kept falling over her face. At one point, she tried to push it away and sighed. Without thinking, I said, "You missed a spot." She looked confused. "What?" I pointed to the other side of her hair. She laughed and fixed it. "Oh, thanks." Ava looked between us suspiciously. Great.
Even noticing things was the last thing I needed. After Lena went home, I was in the kitchen getting water when Eva suddenly appeared. She leaned against the counter dramatically. "I know your secret." I almost choked on the water. "What secret?" "You like Lena." My brain stopped working for half a second, but I forced myself to stay calm. "That's ridiculous." Eva pointed at me like a detective. "You watch her." "I watch everyone." "You smile at her." "I smile at people." "You drove her home in the rain." It was polite. Eva narrowed her eyes. "You're hiding something." I leaned closer to her slightly. "Eva." "What?" "If I liked Lena, don't you think I would have told you?" Eva thought for a second. "No, actually." I sighed. "Go to sleep." She walked away, but I knew that look on her face. She wasn't convinced. Later that night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I knew Eva suspected something, but that wasn't the real problem. The real problem was Lena, because lately she had been looking at me differently, more curious, more attentive. Earlier tonight, she asked me, "Why do you avoid me sometimes?" I didn't answer, because the real answer would sound insane. I avoid you because if I spend too much time around you, I might start hoping for something that shouldn't happen. Eva would lose her mind. Lena might feel uncomfortable. Everything would get complicated. So the safest option was simple: keep the secret. But the more time Lena spent in our house, the harder that secret became to hide. And the worst part? I wasn't even sure Lena was completely unaware anymore. Sometimes when she looked at me, it felt like she was trying to figure me out. And if Lena ever asked me directly, I wasn't sure I could lie to her.